Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much to those of you that joined our live stream today. We had a great time as always, and congratulations to the 4 winners of the giveaway during that live stream. Well, it seems like the US government has a war against farmers, and ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, the farmers are losing. And what happens when the farmers lose? We lose, ladies and gentlemen. Why is that? Because they are being pushed out of the market, all right? And the U.S. is now going to be a net importer of food. And that is very troubling. Why? Because we need food. And if we are a net importer of food and the dollar continues to do what it's doing now, it's not going to be very good for the average consumer. And everyone needs to eat. So get ready to pay a lot more for the things that you eat, ladies and gentlemen, going forward. As the dollar devalues and the more food that we import, the more that we are going to have to pay for food going forward. Inflation, as I've stated, is the song that never ends. The fed up farmers tell why governments will put them out of business. And this is not a small deal. This is a very big deal. I think we only have about 2.5 or so million farmers in the United States, and most farmers in the United States are small farmers, small mom and pop farms who cannot absorb the price increases in their input costs. And why? Because regulations, policies, the devaluation of the dollar, the energy regulations that are being put forth. Let me go ahead and talk about a few things that I got from this article. I will go ahead and leave a link to this article on a pinned comment so you can go check it out. But here it says within the next few months, I was wrong. It's within the next few months, not years. The United States is projected to import more agricultural products than it exports for the first time in history. A worrisome development for American family farmers who say government meddling threatens their livelihoods and the nation's food security. And that's it right there, ladies and gentlemen, the nation's food security. You see all of these other countries, all of these other poor countries right now that are having a lot of problems because they're net importers of food. What happens when we are net importers of food? And for whatever reason, maybe country A, B, and C put sanctions on us. There will come a day when America, when the United States government will no longer have the strength to put sanctions on other countries, but other countries will have the strength to put sanctions on us. Then what happens? We're going to find ourselves in a similar predicament as those countries that are now not being able to import the food that they need, especially for here in the United States, where we can produce every single thing that we need. We can produce all the energy that we need. We can produce all the food that we need. We have it all. But government keeps getting in the way and keeps pretty much sabotaging our farmers. The United States has never had any trouble feeding itself and much of the world. Oh my goodness. I guess the politicians just figure we'll keep going no matter what they do to us. But you know, there is a limit. And there is a limit. And you know what that limit is? The bottom line. Once farmers cannot afford to farm because it's costing them more to farm than what they're bringing in, meaning that they're not making a profit, do you think that they are going to continue to farm? I doubt it, ladies and gentlemen. And look at this. I always say this example. I always tell people, do you think that the potato farmer farms because they love to farm potatoes? They may, but they will no longer farm when they can no longer make a profit so that they can feed their own families. And here we have what looks like a father and son team holding a box of what looks like sweet potatoes. Incredible. They say, I am committed to being a farmer. I love to farm, he said. But I'm at the point now where I cannot grow vegetables anymore. Why is that? Because they can't afford it, ladies and gentlemen. This fuel crisis that we have going on that is self-induced is putting a lot of farmers on the edge of not being able to farm anymore. And we are now going to have to depend on other countries that export their food so that we can import food. What happens when we cannot import that food? What happens when those countries will not accept the US dollar? There will come a time, I'm telling you that, there will, go ahead and save this video or whatever it is. There will come a time when the US dollar will not be the world hegemony, when the US dollar or the Federal Reserve note will not be king. There will come a time, and countries are going to say no to the US dollar, and then what are we going to import? During our live stream, someone said, grow your own food. That is some great advice. Start by growing one thing. But first and foremost, make sure that you are prepared. And this farmer here says, one area chain store paid me $17 a box for my sweet potatoes 3 years ago. Last year, they paid me $15 a box. And this year, they told me that they're paying $13. Why is that? Because they're being able to get those sweet potatoes at a cheaper price from imports. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, we are forsaking, and when I say we, I don't mean you. I mean our politicians, our administrators, our lawmakers are forsaking the American people by forsaking the American farmer. He says this is bull butter. All right, it's going to come to the point where there will be no local farmers left and all produce will be imported. And that is going to affect the bottom line, meaning your pocketbook. We are a highly diversified farm, says Stanton, who's 60 years old. That means 100 acres of varied fruits and vegetables, 500 acres of hay for nearby horse stables, a 10-acre pick-your-own apple orchard, and fall hay rides on corn mazes, and even a 50-head herd of cattle beef. And what he's talking about here is that if you want to survive, you're going to have to diversify. You're going to have to do different things that maybe do better one year than the other years, but something's always going to do better. And that's what he says here. That is our insurance, he said. Every year something doesn't do well, but other things do. So small farmers out there, I mean, I wish I can say that we have your back, but it's so easy to say that when people usually go to wherever is cheaper. For example, all of these small towns that had mom and pop supermarkets, right? And then a Walmart comes into town, and then those mom and pop supermarkets, they go out of business. Why? Because people go shop at the Walmart. People are going to shop in general in those places that are the cheapest. And if we import foods from other countries that can undercut the foods that our farmers have to pay for growing here, then guess what's going to happen? Our farmers are going to go out of business. He continues to say this administration's energy policies have become a heavy burden. And I would have to say I agree, even though I'm not a farmer, because I can see how all of these policies, especially with fuel, fossil fuels, making it more expensive for people to do business, is having a very big effect on the way that people can farm, or farmers can farm. Right? Because input cost, in my opinion, to a farmer is everything. If they have to pay more to grow something than what they can get for it, they're not going to grow it, ladies and gentlemen. Where are we going to get that from? Where are we going to get our food from once we depend on other countries to send us our food and they say no? I'm not sure if you understand this, but there's a lot of countries in the world that do not like the United States of America, i.e. the government. And if they don't like the government and they don't want to do business with the government because of the policies and restrictions, and especially, again, I'll go back, because of the US dollar, the Federal Reserve note, and how the government has used the Federal Reserve note as a weapon. It has weaponized the fiat currency around the world to make countries do what they want them to do. Countries are going to stop doing business with us, and it's going to hurt us in the end. And it seems that, I mean, just take a look at what happened with manufacturing. Do you want the same thing to happen with farming? He continues to say here, Biden is trying to get rid of fossil fuels, and it's killing us. Our packaging costs almost double. Fuel costs are through the roof. And we paid $1,000 a ton this year for fertilizer that was $500 a ton in 2021. Natural gas is a key ingredient in nitrogen fertilizers. So we get hit twice, he said. It's putting a lot of pressure on us. Farming is a hard business. My son and I work 100 hours a week. 100 hours a week just to see their profits diminish year over year. He continues to say, we love seeing things come from nothing, putting a seed in the ground and seeing a crop come up. But these days, it really takes that passion. It's not a fun life if you don't want to be here. And eventually, they won't be there. They won't be there eventually, ladies and gentlemen, because if they can't make a profit, how are they going to feed their families? But our politicians, they're content in making our country be dependent on other countries, when for decades it's been our country that's been helping to feed the world, and now we're going to become a net importer of food. Now, this is a short article that came out in May of this year. The U.S. is soon to become a net food importer, says the USDA. Did anyone see this in the mainstream media? Because I don't remember hearing about this anywhere. And in this figure right here, if you take a look at this little dashed line, this is our imports. And look at the trend that our imports has. Our exports is pretty much flat, which I guess in a way it's a good thing. But look at our imports. I believe that our exports is a little bit flat is because we're not able to grow as much as we were able to grow before. But our imports is getting higher and higher and higher. And look at our balance. Our balance is getting lower and lower and lower. That is just not good. Agricultural exports are expected to grow at an annual rate of about 0.8% per year from 2021 through 31. The value of U.S. agricultural imports is projected to increase by an annual rate of 6%. So our imports are increasing by about, 8 times, roughly 8 times more than what our exports are increasing by, meaning that we are now a net importer of food. I hope you understand what a big deal this is, and I hope that you're preparing, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. I just thought that this was a very important article to go over, and thank you very much to our community member that sent this to me early this morning. Having said that, again, thank you very much to all of you that joined in on our live stream today. I'm going to try to go ahead and edit that live stream video so that I can have chapters in it. That way, those of you that maybe didn't catch the live stream can go and see the parts of the live stream that you would like to see. Other than that, have a great week ahead. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm going to ask a prepper. I'm out. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the market for a quality solar generator, OPS makes a good quality solar generator at a very competitive price. My favorite is the OPS 2400, or what I like to call the Beast. I have a 25 cubic foot refrigerator, and it can run for more than 16 hours on one charge. So whether you need one for a refrigerator, freezer, medical, or personal devices, I'm sure that OPS has a size that will fit your needs. Check below the description of this video and on a pinned comment for the link to their website and a code that can save you from $50 off of the 2400 watt model and 15% off any other product on the OPS website.